Hey guys, it's MarkNicol here again. So it's been a little while since I spoke to you last. But if you remember, the last time we spoke, it was about the 5 principles that make up the MarkNicol method. Okay, so if you remember, they were your psychological health, optimal hydration, quality nutrition, sleep, and the appropriate exercise. So today we're going to cover kind of the first principle, psychological health. And hopefully kind of explain really why my video a day for 30 days was kind of put on hold a little bit while I address that for myself. Okay, so psychological health basically refers to stress. Okay, stress has a massive and negative impact on your body in terms of your weight, in terms of your energy, your mood, your emotions, how you feel, and your health in general. Okay, and I'm going to explain to you why. Now, I don't know, but you may have or may not have heard of something called the fight or flight response, and this is how your body responds when faced with kind of like with a physical stress or a danger, typically. Okay, so the standard analogy would be a caveman. Okay, so a caveman is going about his business, and all of a sudden a saber-toothed tiger jumps out from behind a bush, and there he is in front of the caveman. Okay, the caveman, in that split second, his body goes into this fight or flight response. Okay, hormones called adrenaline and cortisol are dumped into the body, into your bloodstream. And these hormones kind of rev everything up, put your body or put his body into kind of a really revved up state, like priming him for either fighting the saber-toothed tiger or flight, the running away from the saber-toothed tiger. Okay, so maximum kind of physical exertion. So blood sugar is dumped into the bloodstream. Muscles start to be broken down for energy. Okay, body fat is kind of placed in, is kind of broken down and again released for energy. Okay, heart rate increases, breathing rate increases. Okay, so again, so your body's kind of really revved up into this kind of into this state of readiness. Okay, so either for physical exertion, again, either to fight or flight. Okay, unfortunately, things have kind of progressed from caveman times, and although physically we're very much the same in terms of our evolution, we haven't really changed very much, but the stresses that we face have become very different. Okay, and rather than being faced so much with physical stresses that present themselves, we then respond and then the stress is gone, we now face kind of lots of different stresses on a daily basis. Psychological stresses, emotional stresses, relationship stresses. Okay, so and basically your body doesn't know the difference between those types of stress and physical stress. Okay, so your body responds in exactly the same way. When you're stuck in a traffic jam and you're getting a bit uptight and you can feel yourself kind of starting to rage, okay, your body responds in exactly the same way as if you were being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. Okay, when you have a falling out with your boss, okay, your body responds in exactly the same way. If you and your partner aren't getting on so well and you're feeling under kind of emotional stress, your body responds in exactly the same way as if you were under physical stress. Okay, because all of the signals to your body are exactly the same. Your body feels that it's in danger, and so it stimulates this flight or flight response. But because there's no physical need to kind of respond, or there's no physical exertion, all of this energy and all of this pent-up kind of ness kind of then starts to wreak havoc on your body. Okay, so basically we're under kind of, in the times and days that we live in, we're kind of under prolonged and repeated, almost like low-level stress. Okay, so you think about it on a daily basis. You wake up a bit late. You've got to get your kids to school. They're not really kind of doing what they need to be doing. You skip breakfast. You get stuck in traffic on the way to school. You then have to rush to get to work. You're then faced by your boss who has a go at you because you're late. You then work all day, you're dealing with clients who aren't doing what you want them to do, and so on and so on and so on, until eventually you then have to go home. You're faced with the long drive home. You get stuck in traffic because it's rush hour. You get home, you're tired. You and your partner have a bit of a fallout because you're both a bit stressed and a bit uptight, and you go to bed too late. Okay, so all of these things cause this same stress response over and over and over and over throughout the day. But because that stress level, although not as extreme as being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, but because it never subsides, because it's always kind of just being topped up all the time, this leads to a condition often called adrenal fatigue. Now, your adrenal glands are based just above your kidneys in your back, and it's those that that release adrenaline and that release the hormone cortisol. And when they're kind of like being constantly asked for these hormones to keep you stimulated, to keep you going under these stressful conditions, they eventually become worn out. And because you're so constantly in this stress state, eventually when you are then faced with more stress, they have nothing more to give. Okay, this tends to lead to your immune system being compromised. Okay, because your adrenal glands are like massive storage capacity for vitamin C. Okay, so your immune system becomes compromised. You also start to become what they call insulin resistant, or you run the risk of becoming diabetic, because your body is constantly dumping so much blood sugar into your bloodstream but not being able to do anything with it because there's no physical exertion to burn all this sugar off. Your body almost becomes kind of numb to the insulin. Okay, it doesn't respond to it in the same way because it's kind of, to put it in a layman's term, because it's so used to having insulin in your bloodstream, it needs even more insulin before it will respond to it. So that's the basis kind of diabetes and insulin resistance. Okay, so amongst all that, but there's also the kind of the negative emotional stress and everything that just comes from being under pressure and under stress the whole time. Okay, in terms of a weight perspective, okay, high levels of cortisol in your blood, it's been found, causes increased fat storage around your abdomen. Okay, so it's kind of that big belly in guys, and it's also kind of those love handles or muffin tops that we see in ladies. Okay, so yeah, so high cortisol, high stress causes a very distinctive body shape. Okay, and it's all of that abdominal fat, which of course we also know is closely linked to heart disease. And again, it's kind of a major indicator of poor health. Okay, so this is why I've been a little bit absent from these videos for the last little while, is that I found, or I stopped and identified kind of what were the main stresses in my life when we started this the other week. And for me, as I mentioned in the first video, is that it was kind of like my work-life balance was a bit out of whack. So I was finding myself increasingly under stress because I was overworking and I wasn't taking enough time out to relax and spend time with my family. Okay, so that was causing me to become stressed. Okay, and it was causing me to become tired and fatigued, and again I got my cold and just felt rubbish. Okay, so before addressing anything else like my exercise or my nutrition or anything, I've just taken the time in the last week to really kind of set some goals and put different things in action that are allowing me to deal and realign kind of my stress levels and realign my work-life balance. Okay, so for example, on a Thursday now, I now have a day off. Okay, now my daughter goes into nursery in the morning, so on a Thursday that time is for me. Okay, so this week I'm going to go mountain biking in the woods to get some fresh air and get out and again just get some exercise. Okay, but that could just be time to do odd jobs around the house, to meet up with friends, do some extra reading or so on, but it's designated time for me to do things that make me me. Okay, they give me the time to release stress and just to kind of do stuff that makes me me. Okay, so that's been a major thing. Another major thing has been that I've created a cut-off time. So again, from my work. So again, being self-employed, I can kind of find things to do the whole time. But again, I've now set a cut-off point. So during the week, after 7 o'clock, no work. Don't do any work. Okay, don't return phone calls. Don't write emails. Don't do research. Don't do reading. Don't do anything. After 7 o'clock is now family time. It's designated to spending time with my daughter and with my partner Amy. Okay, so there's a couple of things that's kind of just allowed me to readdress kind of where I was, and hopefully you'll understand a bit more now about why stress is such a major factor in dealing with your health. And just as a side note, having just done those few little things, again not really addressing my nutrition or anything particularly, I've actually lost 2 inches off my waist already. Okay, simply where the stress has caused a reduction in inflammation, and again body fat levels are starting to go down already. So stress, major impact and importance when it comes to your health. Okay, so our next video will be about hydration and the massive importance that being optimally hydrated has on your health, and again why it's so important if you're trying to lose weight. Okay, I hope that's been of use to you guys, and do feel free to email me at mark@marknicol.co.uk. Okay, if you have any questions. Take care, we'll speak to you again soon. Bye.